Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be reviewing the brand new horror film M3GAN. If you have not seen M3GAN yet, this will be a non-spoiler review. I don't want to spoil everything for you guys and you guys go into the movie being like, oh, I know everything that happened. I want you guys to go in full steam ahead and enjoy the movie for what it is, and maybe come back to this review and look at my viewpoints and maybe agree with them, or you may not agree with them. In fact, I might not even want you guys to agree with them, because that's just how movies are supposed to work. Everyone's supposed to go into them and have a different viewpoint on it. That's totally great, and maybe you'll have a couple of similar viewpoints that I do, and that'll be great also. So hopefully you guys go in and enjoy that film, and wherever you're watching this, whether you're watching it before you watched it or after you watched it, I hope you can find some enjoyment in my review. So firstly, we're going to start off with the disappointments or negatives of the film, because I kind of want to start off with a negative that I can build you guys back up and cheer you up by the end with the positives. So let's start off with the negatives first. Of course, this is a horror film. This is one of those movies that maybe not needs to be looked into too much, but I like to look at movies from kind of a critique and criticism way, and these are just kind of my disadvantages or negatives I saw in the movie. But you might feel different. Maybe you don't mind these as much, and that's totally fine. But I want to give you my full thoughts and honesty about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start off with maybe the first negative in the movie. I feel like this movie, the biggest problem I have with this movie is I felt like there's too many or quite a few conveniences with some of the characters. Some of the things were achieved too easily or achieved in a weird way. I don't want to go into too many details of where I found that, but I felt like it was just a little bit too convenient in certain areas. But of course, that might be me looking too much into the movie. Maybe that didn't bother you guys, but for me, that bothered me. Another thing is I felt like there's a topic on hand of this movie that deals with technology and its detriment to, of course, children of our society and everyone in our society. And I felt like this could go a little bit deeper in the film. I wish it went a little bit more deep in the film, but of course, this is another thing, like I said, that you might not find that a problem with. Maybe you didn't look at it that deep, but for me, I felt like it should have gone a little bit deeper, at least for my preference. I wish it would have been a little bit more deeper, because I feel like there was more of an emotional impact in that specific topic, and I wish they went a little bit deeper into it. But again, this film maybe was not intended for that. It was intended for to be a horror film, while also have delving into some of those social topics. I feel like it could have gone a little bit more deeper, maybe added more of emotional impact, maybe even built itself up to an Oscar type movie. But of course, this movie knows what it is, and maybe that's its best feature. It knows what it is, and it's going for what it is, and it's striving for that. So overall, those are my critiques of it. One last one. There's a specific moment that happens in the opening scene of this movie that I feel like kind of was rushed through. They didn't really speak about it too much. I mean, of course, it's a big topic throughout the movie. I don't want to say what it is, but I feel like it was kind of rushed, and I didn't feel the emotional impact that I feel like we should have felt from that key moment. And I wish they had delved into that a little bit more, maybe talked about it a little bit more. But overall, those are just my disadvantages. You might feel like, wow, those are a lot of key disadvantages, but for me, it didn't bog down the movie so much where I didn't enjoy it. I still enjoyed the movie, and I still felt it was really, really good. But those are a couple things that I felt like kept it from being a fantastic and great movie, but it just brought it down to maybe a good movie. And overall, it was a good movie. So now let's get into the positive, which is the great part of this movie. The positive, first of all, is just the suspense, the horror work, the doll work. Everything is fantastic in this film. There's also a couple humorous takes. There's a lot of good comedy in this film, which is surprising. I mean, I when I first watched the trailer, I think the trailer made it look like it was more of a horror film. That was what it was marketed as. But as I've seen reviews come out for this film, I've seen that it's actually pretty humorous. And when I went into the movie, I was kind of concerned about that. I was hoping like, oh, will the humor take over with the movie itself? But in certain aspects, it doesn't. I do think in other aspects, it does take a little bit over the film, but overall, the humor works really, really well, and blended in with the horror aspects, I think it's really, really good. I also think, like I just mentioned before, I wish they delved into more of that topic I was trying to say. I don't want to say what it is in terms of technology and how it's taking over, but I felt like, the ideas it had on its hand were really, really intriguing, really, really well thought out, and I think they did a good job at even presenting that topic, and I really, really enjoyed that. For the most part, the acting is really, really good in here. There's a couple performances that I felt were kind of subpar, but overall, the performances are really, really good. Like I said, the suspense work is fantastic. The overall story is really, really good. I actually think this is better than the Child's Play remake that came out, and I quite enjoyed that Child's Play remake. I know they didn't have great reviews, but personally, I felt the Child's Play remake wasn't bad, but I felt like what that movie was going for, this movie executed even better, because I feel like they had similar goals, but this movie just flat out, executed that goal a lot better, and overall it was fantastic. And I think this is kind of, you know, inspiring, because this is a film that was made for $12 million by a director that didn't have that many credits to his name at the beginning. And I feel like it's inspiring to young filmmakers and young storytellers that want to go out and be able to tell unique stories. And this is definitely a unique story that you don't see often. Oh, of course, you may say, oh, well, you've seen that in Child's Play, you may see it in these other areas, but I feel like this delved into other areas that you haven't really seen. You know, it did a great job at you know, just being able to do it, set itself apart, and be able to tell different storylines. And I think Blumhouse, the company run by Jason Blum, who makes their films for a cheap price, always delve into different topics. Yeah, they might not always strike it out of the park. Halloween Ends was one of those that wasn't struck out of the park. But overall, this was a great movie. It reinvented itself. It was fantastic. And all I got to say is I hope we see more for future from these films, or well, this specific, you know, this specific franchise or whatever. I hope we see more from it. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you guys enjoyed M3GAN. If you guys want to see more videos like this, and if you guys want to come back and maybe comment on here and tell me what you think of M3GAN, I would love to hear it. And I would love to hear any opinions of you guys from any movies you guys like to see. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys in the next video.